Hi, I'm Liam and this is Book Films. While The Walking Dead is the show that I talk most about on this channel, there's nothing quite as close to my heart as Primeval. Coming from the Walking with Dinosaurs creators Impossible Pictures, it's a show about time travel, dinosaurs and strange anomalies through time, but let's be honest, if you're watching this video, you're probably already a fan of the series. It ran from 2007 to 2012, and while it never pulled in great worldwide viewing figures, it's a show that I can imagine most people in the UK have probably heard of at least once. Not only that, but the show has a strong cult following, being led online by the Primeval site still until today. They generate a lot of Twitter buzz showing the community is still very much active, and with one of their posts, a commenter tweeted Watch's official Twitter channel asking for any chance of a reboot. To everyone's surprise, they replied, and while suggesting they'd have a word with the team, it's not exactly anything concrete, but it's the most concrete evidence that the show could potentially have a reboot we've gotten in years, since the show's creator revealed some stills from a failed animated series a few years ago. Unfortunately though, the tweet hasn't really generated the buzz it deserves, or any buzz really. Perhaps with a few videos like this, like mine, we can get a few film sites maybe to report on it, or just to bring awareness that in the Netflix age, pretty much anything can be revived if the need is strong enough. TV has dramatically changed since 2007, and I think a more bingeable format that would work wonders for this show, especially if Impossible Pictures could get some sort of partnership with a streaming service like Netflix, Amazon Prime or Hulu. They're constantly making original programming, so with Primeval already proving a success, maybe they could bring it to a larger audience, and with the cogs already turning in my head, there's only one thing to do. It's a classic for this channel. I'm going to suggest what I would like to see in a soft reboot for the show. So, while I think it's paramount that Connor, Abby and James Lester especially return, the others I don't really mind so much not returning, especially if this is going to serve as something as a reboot. We need some new faces, and I think no one would be better than reintroducing a child from the original series. Cast your mind back to Season 2, Episode 5, my personal favourite, in which Stephen and Cutter head to rescue a young girl from an insect-infected desert. Her name was Taylor Craig, a feisty Hackney-born girl who was a total subversion of a child needing rescuing, and a character that stuck in my head despite being in a single episode all this time. She ended the episode asking if she could join the ARC team when she was of age, and we're going to pick up from there. We're going to imagine years later Taylor serves in the British Army, potentially as a dog handler, where she's plagued by dreams of her ideal back in time. She doesn't really remember it, and it's this big nightmare dream, PTSD almost. Her friends never believed in the stories, nor her father, her drunken father, and she became guarded and closed off, eventually joining the army. Eventually, one day, years later, while on patrol in some foreign country, she encounters an anomaly, finally, and she comes face to face with a creature, let's say a velociraptor, and one by one it hunts down her entire team. But, knowing what it was, she manages to escape through the anomaly, and her past returns to her as she ends up in the Cretaceous era jungle. She'll eventually bump into the team, who is led by Connor himself. I think she'd serve as a really strong protagonist, as both someone who can be new to this world, but without being naive and having to have exposition dumped on them. Someone that can imply the series has history without having to dive into it and explain everything. Together the team will work as a unit and try and keep the anomalies under control as they begin to change, return and potentially reject Connor's technology, because obviously he's got all those technology to make his own anomalies, to lock them, to time them, to date them. I think all of that can be scratched off. We'd also have a big hanging plot thread where he'd have to search for his teammates Matt and Emily, who disappeared one day without a trace. We're going to pick that up from Season 5. I'd like the team to be more international, to reflect the more international views of TV today. There's not really UK TV anymore, there's not really American TV, it's all kind of just this big one. Anyone can watch anything nowadays. I'd like members from other countries, obviously, and I think it'd be cool to have a character from New Dawn, even though that's not particularly popular. I think it's cool to acknowledge that it's canon and that it exists. Most of the cast members are pretty boring and are all just bad versions of the UK cast, but I think one character who would be cool, other than Mac, who's dead, would be Ken Leeds, who is the Project Magnet leader and the government guy. He's really annoying, and he could maybe appear for a couple of episodes, or just join the team full time. I think the show would work best in, say, a 10 episode season, so more episodes than the original show had, but still shorter than what we're used to in modern TV formats, especially for all of you over there in the US who have very long seasons. Telling separate, well-made tales each week is important, especially given how popular anthology shows like Black Mirror are nowadays. By keeping a light mystery running throughout the background would be a great move to glue all the episodes together. Season 2 of the original show, which is arguably, in my opinion, the best season of the original show, dealt with a really great central mystery in a rewarding, memorable way that didn't detract from the Monster of the Week formula all too much. Perhaps the central mystery of this season could revolve around a mysterious location, named after a mythical city like Atlantis or Shangri-La. Perhaps a time map like the one in Season 3 could lead them there, and upon finding the enemy, it's revealed that the secret city is hidden in time, not place, with Matt, Emily, Danny and Patrick residing there. It would be a great way to tie up all the loose ends, get more character cameos, and set up the future of the series with more intriguing mysteries about the future and the anomalies. That's all I got for today's subject. That's just a really random, off the top of my head rant. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe, comment or like it. Tell me what you think. There might be more Primeval content coming, so subscribe if you want to see that. Do you think Primeval can ever get a comeback? Tell me in the comments below. I've been Book of Films. Thank you for watching.